To nut or not to nut? That is never the question. Us men can be simple creatures, dogs with a bone to bury. Between our hairy quadriceps is a dowsing rod that points us in the direction of one thing and one thing only: sweet release. This little monster, our pet salad, it has a mind of its own, and it will do anything to stash that nut. In the club, bottle full of bub, a muscle-bound male specimen making everyone but their bros cringe as they take their animalistic ritual to the max in order to get attention. Well, you pay $8 for Bud Light cause $12 for craft beer is just unreasonable, and you were worried about pre-gaming with Fireball like you did last time, so you can't even get a solid buzz on! Anyway, hi, I'm No Nut Grant. The simple truth is that for some, the nut must crack. But for some, a ritual has begun for the month of November. Well, during Thanksgiving, we honor the proud natives our forefathers ruthlessly slaughtered from the wetlands of New England to the golden coast of California in order to steal their land and create this monumental society. Some have finally put down their pork swords. For 30 days and 30 nights, many abstain from staining the sheets, not as a protest of the male drive to layer on the baby gravy, but rather as an act of sorcery to increase the essence of masculinity. That's right. Not busting a nut can give you magical powers. Superpowers. So prepare yourself for the history of an internet phenomenon, for the month in which billions of spermies are saved from oblivion. This is the story of self-afflicted chastity and reluctant release. This is No Nut November, the story ye never knew. Whoa, come on! Hi everyone, I am No Nut Grant. If you're wondering what to do with all the money that you're saving on dates and cam girls this month, why not check out our merch store and join the tribe? Over at pixelempire.com/Treesicle, we got brand new shirts so you can show the world that you're one with the cosmic dolphins who swim through the ether. They're limited, so get them while you can. On with the show! You may be thinking that No Nut November is pointless, a simple social experiment with no purpose other than to test your will. Is it possible for a dude to pack his meat packer for 30 days? If that's all you think it is, you're just not right. There is a real, very important reason why No Nut November exists. And like most things, it all started thanks to the internet. It began in 2009 when an anonymous 4chan goer posted about NoFap September, but nobody seemed to care. Until 2011, when a post appeared on the Today I Learned subreddit citing a 2003 study that said if you didn't wank it for 7 days, your testosterone would spike, reaching 145.7% above the baseline. This changed everything. Suddenly, r/nofap appeared. Men came together to not come together. For the first time, men were gathering to address smut addiction, which had become widespread thanks to the internet. It wasn't until November 3rd, 2011, when Urban Dictionary user BigBoy69696969 submitted an entry for No Nut November, defining it as a challenge in which an individual must not choke the chicken for the month of November. The marketing was suddenly there, and NNN had transcended to its final form. That's how it all started. But let's go back to that study about testosterone peaking if you don't whack it for 7 days. Turns out, it's true, but there's a lot of nuances to this. There's more to life than having your testosterone 145.7% above your baseline. In fact, you can raise your T levels by 300% if you're willing to drink onion juice every day. I actually had a friend in college who did just that, and he was always telling me about his bones and wanting me to check out his quads. It works. Point is, testosterone increase is only one facet of No Nut. And also, this is very important, after that 7-day mark, your testosterone does lower back down. It's still a little bit higher than usual, but you're more balanced mentally, and it's just better for you overall. Petting Peter can be a problem like anything done in excess. And things really get wonky when you include the whole adult entertainment industry that a lot of people are really into. Prawn can really mess with a person's head and thereby affect one's sexual and romantic relationships. I'm not saying don't watch it ever, I'm just saying moderation and just be aware that you're watching a 2D fake theatrical representation of two people. Like, it's not real life. And if you watch too much of it, then you start to subconsciously think that that's what it is, and then it thereby affects your romantic and sexual relationships, and you don't want that. Prawn is written by horrible writers, and like I said, it is theatrical. Real encounters of the downstairs are neither of those things. When you're with a lady or dude lady IRL and you're ready to dock, there's a healthy and beautiful and sometimes awkward dance between two individuals that takes place which no prawn writer or chick getting paid $5,000 to lose her chocolate cherry can ever get right. Becoming the beast with two backs is just chemically different in your brain than sneezing into a Kleenex. Even doing it with someone you have some kind of connection with is better. This is the end goal of No Nut. Scroll through the NoFap or No Nut November subreddits, and you'll notice a very common theme of adult entertainment is affecting my bone to the point that it's a detriment on my life. Women can pick up on it, and now I'll never get invited to the pink garage or have a girlfriend unless I quit watching smut. The first step is admission, right? And then you gotta apologize to all those microwave cantaloupes. The day-to-day of these forums can be a little much. It's a lot of, I failed the first day, I failed after several months, I failed this and that. It's a lot of failure, but also a lot of success and beautiful stories about people overcoming addiction and working through the difficult parts of life and maximizing their long-term happiness over their short-term desire to... It's what you gotta do. Sometimes. Point is, these forums can be kinda sad, a little funny, and also kind of inspiring. If you've wanked less this month than last month, then you're making progress. Keep going, you're great, you're beautiful. But keep in mind that's only progress for the addicts. It's totally okay to violate a couch cushion that you named Princess Leia as much as you want, as long as you're not addicted. I'm not. The psychology of these forums and No Nut in general is pretty interesting. There's a lot of guilt involved usually. Guilt about watching the prawn and splooging too much, and it probably ties back to Catholicism, honestly. I don't know. Just remember, don't let self-loathing get in the way of you acquiring your superpowers that will make people want to invite you into their secret box, whether it's through the front door or the back or the top. Your irresistible aura is yours to cultivate if only you can resist the call of the nut. Or if you're just a beautiful, handsome, gorgeous male specimen, Adonis type guy. Testosterone isn't everything. However, it is very important. Let's talk about that. You see, some men very much enjoy being men, as well as the things that make them manly. Muscles, body hair, confidence, power, hump appeal, etc. Much of this comes down to that simple chemical called C19H28O2, also known as testosterone. Besides your Y chromosome, testosterone is largely what makes you male, and it defines much of what is attributed to masculinity. Height, voice depth, what you're packing, how dope your beard is, how strong your bones are, pun intended, and how bad you want to bust out the nether rod and go to Pound Town. This chemical is balanced by a little doodad in your brain that sends a signal down to your low-hanging fruit that tells your low-hanging fruit how much testosterone to produce. If you want more testosterone, you can also buy it from a sketchy guy at the YMCA in the locker room and inject it in your butt. Though we at Treesicle generally advise against this unless you want to grow chesticles, shrink your dink, murder someone or two, or set a home run record. Generally, your brain does a fine job on its own controlling your levels. However, a little extra tea never hurt when trying to get noticed. You see, women have it too, and how much or little testosterone all humans have determines things like, who are you gonna bring to the boneyard? Hot and bothered women are attracted to men with more testosterone because breeding. Also, women with more testosterone are into men with more testosterone, and this all works out because when ladies get a T-spike, it makes them randy. Baby, yeah! So what if I told you this all ties together into a neat little nut knot? You see, when you bust a big one, your testosterone levels go back to normal after rising before and during the heat of the moment between you and your bottle of Jergens. Frequently copulating with your spank blanket lowers your other male androgen, which helps your body use testosterone more effectively. Basically, the more you beat it, the less attractive you are chemically. So if you're already getting a weekly serving of fur burgers, or whatever it is you like to dine on, imagine how much more you could get if you weren't constantly romancing a blow-up doll. Enter a cultural phenomenon. It's a beautiful thing. That being said, did you know there was a dark side to No Nut? Internet superhero Sarah Manavis writes, "What may appear to be just another weird and bizarre internet challenge is underpinned by extreme misogyny and threats of violence. Indeed, to abstain from the nut is to dip your toes into the rancid waters of misogyny." Look, that's not true. Basically, she's talking about dudes who are kind of on the fringe, participating in No Nut, and they're not the best guys. Her main point is that a lot of No Nut started because of the pickup community, which is where dudes basically try to bang as many women as possible. While I do think the pickup community in and of itself should be morally neutral on a philosophical level, like any place where people are just trying to get laid, weird things can happen, people can be weird, and I think she's focusing on that side of it. For instance, people who blame women for their wank addiction or blame women for losing their nuts. But guys, that's your own fault, alright? You're not a victim if you bust. In fact, you've done nothing wrong. No Nut November is a challenge. It's a game. It may help you find your inner maleness you've repeatedly shot into a tube sock. But remember that it's okay. It's healthy, which is why I do it 27 times a day. Sarah Manavis is only jealous because she has no wang to neglect. For those not in the trenches of No Nut, remain proud of the fact that a blacklight in your room could cause permanent retinal damage. For those fighting the fight in hopes of gaining your superpowers, more power to you. Ignoring the call of your Peter Piper isn't easy. As No Nut grants, I understand this all too well. Keep calm and carry on. That's the story of No Nut November. The story you never knew. No Nut November. It's a pretty crazy time of year. It's a pretty crazy time to be alive in general, wouldn't you agree? And hey, let me know down below if you are participating in No Nut November. Or if you're just like, it's not my thing, I'm gonna splooge whenever I want. I respect you, and you're beautiful. Regardless of how you are spending the month of November, don't forget, we have dope merch. Bam! New merch! Check it! You got a dolphin shooting a nebula out of its blowhole. It's psychedelic. It's cool. You're gonna love it. Go to pixelempire.com/treesicle and you can check out this merch and buy it for yourself. And also a sweet new Treesicle logo shirt that I think you guys are gonna be into. And that's not all. Scroll to the bottom and you'll notice that there is a Nintendo Switch signed by Scott the Woz that you could win. There are 8 super duper easy ways to enter, and you can do all 8 of them if you want. pixelempire.com/treesicle. Speaking of which, shout out to Pixel Empire. We worked with them to make all this happen, and they worked super hard, and they're professionals and they're lovely. Thank you so much, Pixel Empire. You should check them out in general. They got a lot of dope stuff on that site. I am No Nut Grant, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye.